The Cedric Maxwell Podcast is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
All right, it's another episode of the Cedric Maxwell Podcast. I'm Josue Pavone. He is Cedric Maxwell, and we got a special guest on this episode, man. We got Marc Spears joining us. He's going to recap the NBA first round matchups, preview the second round matchups, man, and whatever else we get into, right? It should be a fun episode, man. What's going on, Marc? How are we doing?
Good, man. This is the most casual podcast I've ever been on.
I like it.
Joe looked like he got a brunch date. Look how he dressed. Said, I don't know where Said going, and I don't want to ask, you know.
Ain't that.
I'm sitting in my car too.
Man,
but Said, you look like you got a driver, like you in the back seat.
Right.
I am in the front seat setting this thing up. We got to congratulate you on this Hall of Fame thing, man. Tell us about that first.
Man. Congrats, Marc. Congrats.
It's
headed to the Hall this upcoming induction. Tell us about it.
Yeah, no, I got the Print award, the Kirk Gowdy Award, and Holly Rowe, my ESPN colleague, she got it for television. So on August 11th, the day before the big Hall of Fame induction ceremony, we're going to be honored with the Kurt Gowdy Award, which essentially makes us Hall of Famers, and our name will be in the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. So it's funny, Said, you'll like this. I sat down with Tom Joyner for a story I'm doing on him. He's a season ticket holder for the Heat. And we talked about it. I was there for the Jimmy Butler's 56-point game.
Ooh.
And he's like, yeah, man, I made the Radio Hall of Fame. I told him they could put my name by the vending machine. As long as it was in there, I didn't care. That's kind of how I am, man. It could be upside down. It could be in the bathroom. I'm in here. Ain't nothing they could do about it, right? But, you know, I've been covering basketball. Even for the NBA, I covered Arkansas's football and basketball team. I covered Nolan Richardson, covered Kentucky with Tubby Smith. I even covered Denny Crum in Louisville before I started covering the NBA in '99. And I did the Nuggets for 8 years. But I really feel like my career really changed for the best move I ever made in my career was going to the Boston Globe to cover the Celtics and to cover that championship team. That kind of got me viewed in a different way that I think just changed the course of my career. And from there, I went to Yahoo and then ESPN to the undefeated / Andscape now. So no, it's I've been blessed to write about basketball for a living, and it's very, very humbling. Like, you grow up as a kid hoping to make the Hall of Fame one day, and I did it, but I did it with my writing and not with my playing. So to go in on August 11th, man, I got a 5-minute speech. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I'm excited. I hope y'all two will be there, man. Y'all hop, skip, and jump from there.
Oh man, I would love to be down there for sure.
I hope y'all are there, man. It'll be an amazing day for me.
Who's your presenter, man? Who's your presenter?
Well, I don't get a presenter.
What?
I'm on the JV. I'm on the JV ticket, man. But
they don't give us the writers presenters, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah. Now, Dwayne Wade, Pau Gasol, Tony Parker, Dirk Nowitzki, and Popovich, they're all going in. So on that August 11th, the day that I say a speech, he'll be at the Mohegan Sun. They will get their jackets and a ring, and then the next day we go to Springfield and they'll give their speeches on the August 12th.
Oh, man,
so that's what, man, just to be a part of that. And people have been calling me Hall of Famer lately. I'm like, yeah, it's actually true.
Yeah, you can put that to your title, man. 100%. Yeah. That's what the hard work's for, man. You earned it, man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
No, thank you.
Did you ever think in your wildest dreams that you would be going to the Hall of Fame because I know everybody thinks I'm gonna be a Hall of Fame basketball player, but as a writer, wildest dreams, did you ever think that possible?
No, because you know what, I fell in love with writing when I was in the 7th grade. I decided I want to be a sports writer. And I was like, if I can't play in the NBA Finals, the next best thing is to be there, right?
Wait a minute. How the hell did you fall in love in the 7th grade when I didn't even want to do no damn homework? You said you fell in love with writing at that time?
Let me guess, Mark. That was the one subject you cared about, right? That was the only one that you were like excited about. Or at least for me, that was the case for me for sure, man.
Well, no, you'll find this interesting. I'm going to try to make a long story short. When I was in the 7th grade, if I could do a national program to make sure that every junior high kid has a career day, I would love to be involved in that, because that was a life-changing thing for me. I had basically at my junior high, Silverdale Junior High in San Jose, California, we had the opportunity to pick 3 different people to listen to. And one of my teachers must have been dating some dude from the Warriors, because for some reason, this dude from the Warriors came down, took like the 40-minute drive, came to San Jose, and I listened to him. I'm like, maybe he got free tickets. Maybe he got a bumper sticker. I don't know, something. He didn't give me nothing, but what he asked me for some reason, it was like God told him to ask me, like, he's like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And around that time, I saw a stat that less than 2% of all NBA play, 2% of all college basketball players make it to the NBA. It's like 1984, says in the league, right? And said, if I'm not mistaken, like in your early NBA days, there weren't a lot of international players. So think about it. Less than 2% of all college basketball players make it to the NBA. And this was before the international kicked in.
Yeah.
And so I was just a realistic kid. I'm like, I'm gonna have to be pretty darn good to make it to the NBA if less than 2%. So my mentality changed to, if I could play it in college, that would be great. But how can I be there? And this guy from the Warriors asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I said, I want to play for y'all. And he's like, well, can't make it. What are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. And he said, well, if you can combine what you love most in life with what you do best in school, you'll find a job that you're happy with every day. And I love basketball. I love sports. The only subject I was good in was writing. So I was like, well, shoot, why not be a sports writer? If I can't be in the finals as a player, the next best thing is to be there. And my teacher, Mrs. Thompson, she made us write somebody in a field that we're interested in. And I wrote Marc Purdy from the San Jose Mercury News. He gave me a letter back in the 7th grade telling me what to do from 7th grade through college to be a sports writer.
You're kidding me.
Damn, Mark.
He gave, like,
that
think about this, said,
kind of
he
blueprint?
gave me a blueprint.
That's insane.
A columnist for a major newspaper gave me a blueprint in the 7th grade on what to do from 7th grade through college to be a sports writer. And I followed that like it was a Bible.
Wow. You got the beginning of your speech right there, Mark. Man, that's incredible.
Yeah, man.
That's incredible.
And so that's, so that's how I knew in the 7th grade what I wanted to do.
How many? I just remember when I first found out that you could go to school for communication, sports journalism. Like that just changed everything for me. I didn't know like that was a major. I assumed you had to be trying to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. I had no idea. So that sort of that changed my mindset. But to have a blueprint like that at that age, that's incredible.
Man, I started writing on a school paper in the 7th grade, bro.
How many people tried to discourage you? Because that had to be
nobody.
They did?
Nobody.
Wow.
Yeah. No, like I think my mom saw.
Are you crazy? What are you talking about?
No, my parents were like very.
No, I'm talking about your
supportive.
Friends. I'm talking about your
he's talking about your boys.
Said, but I was like a different kid, man. I ain't listening. I wasn't easily influenced like that. Like I was scared of my dad. I respected my mother. And everybody else was just everybody else. Right. So like my mom was like, what can we do? Like she made me go to a high school I didn't want to go to because they had a good English teacher and they had a guy from the San Jose Mercury News that taught the school paper.
What was your fear factor of your dad? I'm just curious because I had the same fear factor with my dad. He was a Marine. Yeah. So it wasn't even one of those things where I wanted to question him at all. It's like if he said jump, it was just like, let me see, how high should I jump?
No, I was literally scared of him. Like literally like scared of him. I was around drug dealers and gang members as a kid, and I wasn't scared of them, but I was more scared of my dad in a good scared way.
Yeah.
And just didn't want to disappoint him. But he was that guy that was like, if you go to jail, I ain't gonna bail you out. You know what I mean? Like tell you stuff like that. And you like, he's serious. He's not gonna bail me out. Like, so like he was always just in my head all the time, like, you ain't gonna get no Jerry curl, you ain't gonna get no earrings. Like he was just like, he was I'm a big dude. He's a big dude, and he didn't say a whole lot. But when he did say stuff, he had like bars, like he was a rapper. Like he used to give me gems all the time. He's fighting ALS now, so like, pray for him. But no, he was supportive. My mom was supportive. But, in terms of like a hater, God rest his soul, one of my college basketball coaches told me, man, if you cared about basketball as much as you do that goddamn journalism, you'd be a hell of a player.
Wow.
And when I was at the University of D.C.
That's one of them haters right there.
Yeah, when I was at the University of D.C.
always has to be somebody in your ear that you have to say, what are you talking? I remember that was when they were telling me about playing basketball. Man, and the first word is like, nigga, you can't play. What the hell you talking about? You can't do this. You can't.
There's always a doubt. That's the first thing.
But I always wanted to prove that to them, but I think I was more afraid of failure. I was more afraid of failure than anything else. And that's why people over the years have always said, you always talking a lot of noise and all this. But I think I did it like
Hey, you was nice, dog. You was nice, though.
Yeah, but I did it like Muhammad Ali. I was afraid.
Tell him to go look at the back of that bubblegum card. Hey, don't you got Finals MVP on your resume?
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Ain't a lot of people can say that.
No. I was telling somebody the other day, I was just thinking about saying there are only 33 people who've ever had Finals MVP. And right now, there might be maybe 22 or 23 of them who are alive right now.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. I was like, okay, I'll take that. Now, going on though, let's hear a little bit about what's going on with Warriors, man.
Yeah, fast forward to the last game you went to. Go ahead.
They were playing at happy hour, and it felt like they were at happy hour the way they were playing. The thing is this, like the Kings played like their lives depended on it, and it did. They had an energy, they had a will to live. Like they were in obviously playing in San Francisco. They were playing against the champs. That number 2 seed didn't matter. They knew that everything was against them, and they showed up for the moment. They came ready to play. In fact, like before the game, Malik Monk started like basically yelling at his teammates like, y'all ain't gonna be no punks.
Wow.
He's like, we need to start strong. We need to be focused. And when we get back, we don't need no regrets. Like that's what he told them before the game.
Damn.
And Harrison Barnes yelled at him before the game about, let's go get this. You know what I mean? So they came in to that game with the right mentality. Whereas the Warriors came in very laissez-faire, very surprising. They went down like 8-0. It was probably like it's one thing to lose a playoff game, but it's another thing to not come prepared. And it certainly could be very costly because the Kings are certainly good enough to beat them. And then even if they win, the Lakers will have rested for a few days where they're going to have a day off and then have to play. You never know in a game.
If you're a betting man here, who do you go with in that game? The Kings now.
Game 7?
Yeah.
Well, I got another theory for that.
Warriors on the road, man. That hasn't been.
You know what it is? It's interesting, Sid, and you can tell me what you think about this. I think it's harder to play Game 7 at home than it is on the road.
The Cedric Maxwell podcast is brought to you by FanDuel. And now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. New customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers and threes drained. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go. FanDuel.com/Boston. That's FanDuel.com/Boston to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA.
And the reason why I think that is, I think there's more pressure to come through in front of your home fans.
That's true.
And like, and then, all right, did mama get the tickets? Is everybody there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you got all these you got all these like distractions at home, and then if you don't get out the gate well, then the crowd starts getting restless, so that adds pressure. Like I saw the Kings when they had an opportunity to get to their first playoff to clinch it for the first time in 17 years, and they lost at home to Minnesota. And I remember when they got down, the crowd just got so disappointed and so deflated. And I think it also had an effect on the Kings a little bit in terms of there was no pick-me-up there. So I think if the Warriors, like, watch it, if they are able to jump on them early, like, you could take out their crowd because they have so much pain from I'm being a psychologist here.
Yeah,
Kings crowd
has
so much pain from their
past. Fragile crowd, right.
Yeah, there's so much pain there from their past that if it looks like they're going to be disappointed, they get deflated more so than any other team in the league.
Flashbacks. So it's like getting flashbacks.
Yeah, I just think that the Warriors, for some reason, they're like better when their back's against the wall. So I think they'll be ready. I also think it's also hard to beat a team 4 times in a row, right? So there's that part, but I just feel like too, like the Kings haven't. Yeah, they held court, but playing in a game 7, it's just different. The Warriors have done that before. I actually picked the Warriors in 7 from the beginning, so I'm gonna stick with them. I feel like they'll figure it out.
I believe in this series, and you talked about 7th games, and it depends on the crowd. I played a couple of 7th games in Boston, and the crowd is a pick-me-up crowd. When we weren't doing well, they got a little antsy, but their energy level picked us up, and vice versa. I've seen this Kings team play, and they'll be nervous coming out the box. But if they can keep that game close, or if they ever get any kind of momentum and they keep that crowd going, it's going to be a long night for the Warriors. And I just think that whatever it is, Jordan Poole was horrible the other day.
Oh, my goodness. He's been horrible this series.
Are you going to change out now, or are you bringing Draymond back?
I think, and this is from what I know from Steve, which I think he's had probably some struggles in terms of the the playing rotation in this series. But I think in a game like this, you got, hey man, if I'm gonna lose with my soldiers, right? Like so, I think Draymond has to go back into the starting lineup in this game. He has to go in the starting lineup, and Poole has just been very disappointing to say the least. And if he's not giving you anything offensively, then there's really nothing you're getting, right? And they stop using Kuminga for whatever reason, and
that's a head scratcher there, because they can play. And if I want somebody who is athletic and could get to the rim, it seemed like he should be getting a few minutes. Steve has just not even played him at all.
Yeah, no, he seems to have a very short leash, where to me, like, Jordan has like a mile-long leash in terms of his ability to make a mistake and not be the end of the world. I just think that I'm gonna go with the veteran. I'm gonna go with the veterans, man. They're the champs. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on this, but the Kings are certainly capable of winning this series and capable of beating the Lakers too.
So let me ask you this:
I was going to ask you.
What kind of juice right now is LeBron having? Or what the hell is he eating? This is crazy. I mean, I have always said, looking at players, I'm like, eventually this guy has to fall off a cliff because I being an athlete, I know when I fell off the cliff, it was like, okay, I'm falling, and like that commercial, I fall and I can't get up. But this dude keeps coming back and over again doing things that no man at 38, 39 years old should be doing, playing more minutes than anybody in the history of the NBA. This is stupid.
Yeah, and it's funny, like somebody was saying, well, the way the NBA players are scoring now, I think somebody will catch LeBron. I'm like, how? How? I said, are they going to play till they're 40?
Right.
Well, that's the difference is, like, how many guys can play past 35 years old? It's not a lot, man. It's
effective.
So, like the Trey Youngs, the Lucas, and all these guys are scoring big numbers, but are they going to play till they're 40 years old? Like, that's what's incredible. And he has the ability in the finances to put like $1 million into his body every year, like that he said, and, get the best of the best. And like, I remember they were making fun of him at Summer League, LeBron, for like eating these healthy snacks. Like it looked like mama gave him a little pouch or something to eat, right? Like after the soccer game or something like that, right? But I mean, like the dude takes care of his body and eats well. And that was during Summer League. I was at a Mediterranean restaurant in Las Vegas, and he was in the VIP room eating dinner in there. And I mean, like, that's where they had, it was a kind of bougie place, man. That's where they had the fish on the ice and all that. But like, ultimately the food there was really, really healthy. So the fact that he was eating there, not like at some steakhouse, kind of showed me like the mentality that he has with his body. It's amazing. Like, I wonder, like, and this is said, I was actually asking somebody that's close to Chris Paul. I'm like, I can't see them being in a position where they'd come off the bench ever in their life. Like, at what point do they say goodbye? Like, I remember Kobe's last days, like Jordan's last days. You don't ever see those Wizards highlights. Like, it's like they're lost tapes. Like, they don't exist. I was telling somebody, I remember seeing Vashon.
That's about it. But
I remember seeing Vashon Leonard block Michael Jordan's shot and standing over him. And that might have been, respectfully, a great shooter, Vashon Leonard, the first block shot and the last I ever saw in his career. And I was like, Jordan got to retire, man. If Vashon Leonard is blocking his shot and standing over him. But I just, like, when do Chris Paul and when do LeBron James say, all right, because I don't think they could do what Vince Carter did. They can't do what Grant Hill did. They can't do what, like, Zach Randolph or Pau Gasol did and end up coming off the bench. I just don't see that, right? Like, at some point, like, when do they say, all right, LeBron can't be average, right?
Yeah.
right.
Like, there's going to be a day where maybe he can still play in this league, but you can't see him as remember like when Kareem was playing his last year and he was averaging 12 points. I can't see LeBron doing that. Like, I don't think we want to see him like that, but I'm very, very intrigued by when those guys, Chris Paul and LeBron, like, when they just decide that, all right.
But you know what? We've seen almost every athlete like that. We saw Muhammad Ali. I did at the end. What happened to him? I saw Dwayne Wade that last couple of times. It said saw Jordan. The only one I knew
Kobe.
Kobe. Only one I knew that kind of stepped away at the prime to me seemed like it was Barry Sanders, who could have still gone on. It seemed like he had some years ago, and he walked away. And I was like, wow, that is really, because I just knew he was coming back. I thought it was about money. But I have to agree with you so much when I think about LeBron James and saying, can LeBron James ever come off the bench? Can that other, and do you just, is it just a day when LeBron says, I've had enough, I'm done here? Because now he's talking about playing with his son.
That's the goal. That's the legitimate goal.
And then the thing is, like, he's not digressing enough for you to think that he'll be average tomorrow, right? Like, I can still maybe see him playing at an elite level in 2 years from now. But, like, I don't like seeing Paul Pierce sitting on the bench with the Clippers. I didn't like seeing KG with the Nets. Like, it just, Ray coming off the bench. Like, that didn't look right to me, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Rondo coming off the bench playing 12 minutes. Like,
remember Tony Parker with the Hornets? That was weird, too.
Yeah. But Tony actually, the interesting thing about that was Tony Parker actually played well for the Hornets that season. And he gave me the breaking news of his retirement. And he's the only player I know that had an option for another year and decided not to take the option and retire.
Wow.
And the thing was the Spurs, where this is DeJounte Murray has talked about it, but I think probably he should kind of like look at it differently. He's like, yeah, Tony could have took me under his wing better, and maybe Tony could have. But I think also, like, Tony was starting there for like 16, 17 years, and then all of a sudden in San Antonio, where you're the guy, like, it's like you're going to have to come off the bench behind this kid. He probably was like, I'd rather come off the bench in Charlotte hanging out with Michael Jordan than to be humbled like that in San Antonio, where I've been a finals MVP. So I'm sure there was some ego involved in that. But I think when Tony played in Charlotte, it was the first time that he told me he entered the season and felt like they couldn't win it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's like,
that's a unique story.
If I can't play on a team that's capable of winning a championship, then I don't want to play anymore. And so he walked away. He walked away, man.
Better he than me, because I was taking that money. I would have took that money.
And I think he had it might have been like 15, not 15. It was probably like $10 million or something like that. Yeah,
it's double figures for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like $10 to $15 million. He walked away. Yeah. Tony got some other businesses. I think he's okay, though.
Mark, if the Warriors go on and we do see the Lakers in that type of matchup, which team out of those do you see making a run to the NBA Finals? Like, could this happen? What the Lakers are doing right now? I know Max is sick just hearing those words, but is this legit? Like what the Lakers are doing?
I think anybody left in the West right now, like including these two teams we're talking about, are capable of representing the West in the Finals.
I agree.
I don't know that there's a clear favorite. Like this is but I'll say this: if Denver beats the Phoenix, then they'll be representing the West. They are for real. This is their real test. Let's see if Denver's not fool's gold. This is a real, like, you're gonna have to stop Book and Durant. They're my favorite. Like,
your mobile device is still in the vehicle.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, Phoenix is my favorite. But like anybody left has a shot for real.
Wow. So what do you see? What do you see over here in the East right now going on? Because
I was gonna say, let's take over to the East.
Yeah, take us in. Just that is.
I think Jason Tatum needs to send Jimmy Butler a thank you note. Like, wait, what? Y'all got the Bucks knocked out? Thank you. Embiid's hurt. Thank you. Hey man, I'm gonna start.
Mark, they better not mess around this time, though. They better make this a quick series.
I find out when the finals dates are. I'm gonna book my Boston hotels, man, because that's.
Oh, it's like that, Mark.
Graduation time.
Okay.
I'm gonna see y'all soon. Let's do this podcast in person next time, man. All
right. Well, dude, thank you for coming on with us, man, and being in your car and all that.
Man, on this beautiful Saturday.
We're gonna meet
full disclosure. I apologize for being forgetful and being late. So
no worries, Mark. It's all good. We made it work.
As you get older, don't worry about it. It's gonna come. Yeah. Everything comes.
I mean, I ain't got Max money where I got an assistant to remind me about stuff. Hey, can I say one thing real quick?
Yes, what you got? What's up?
Man, my sincere condolences and prayers to Heather Walker's family.
Yeah,
she was a very sweet lady who always was brought a lot of sunshine to her and humor and class and man, I just pain for what her family is going through now. But my prayers to them, and she was certainly a beautiful soul that I'm guessing in this next Celtics game she's going to be hopefully. I know what the Celtics do thing. They're gonna honor her big time.
Yeah.
And man, I miss her dearly, and I'm glad that her body's at peace now. You know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Great call, Mark. Yeah, I mean, the entire Celtics family, just right now, everyone's just, I mean, you saw on Twitter and social media the way that the outpour, I mean, that's just the kind of person she was. She just affected so many people's lives, and you can just tell by that, man. So we appreciate that for sure, Mark.
Yeah. And
all
Max,
right, brother.
Man, I got to see you in you got to come to the Hall of Fame, Max. Tell Twist to get you a ticket.
Oh, we going, Max. We go. I went to open school out there, Mark, so for sure.
Again, congratulations, my brother. Congratulations.
All right. Hey, I'll see y'all in Boston soon.
Let's go. Let's go.
Right,
That should be the case for sure, man. He's Marc Spears of ESPN and Andscape. Marc J. Spears, the Hall of Fame, soon to be Hall of Fame sports writer, Marc Spears, joining the Cedric Maxwell podcast, man. Appreciate you, Mark. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace, man. Love y'all.
Sign up at FanDuel.com/Boston and make every moment more on America's #1 sportsbook.